All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. The market was an absolute trip today because we had a lot of action, but there really wasn't that much news intraday. There wasn't. Most of it happened in the morning. That's why we had the gap up, the dollar gap down, and most of the news was overnight. We had comments out of China that they would support their currency. That was very bullish, but then there was bad news about Alibaba and Daniel Zhang. He stepped down from heading the cloud division, but he previously stepped down from heading the other two divisions of Alibaba, I believe within the last 9 months or so. So that was a pretty big deal. And then there was Japan in the morning. There were comments from Ueda that made the yen pop. That's why the dollar went down, and people were kind of bullish about it. I have the 10-year up here, but dollar went down 0.5% at one point, closed about a quarter, but finally, there was the rest of the market dynamic. Like I'm saying, there wasn't that much news intraday, but there was a lot of company-specific events. In the morning, right off the bat, you had that Tesla upgrade. They closed up 9.5%. It was an upgrade out of Morgan Stanley. Analyst Adam Jonas upgraded them to overweight from equal rate and increased their price target from 250 to 400. He said it focused on the AI dynamic and the development of Tesla's Dojo supercomputer. Pretty wild, because now the analysts are finally connecting the dots with Tesla AI. I don't know, but there was also news with RTX about their engine issues. It cost them a $3 billion charge-off, and then Qualcomm made a multi-billion-dollar deal with Apple to supply modems. So this was the quick recap. There was a couple of other deals like Twinkie and JM Smuckers. You're going to get a lot more data tomorrow, but now we have to talk about the CPI. I have a quick update on that for you, and then we have to talk about the drama with the CPI, because the drama with Japan today, it just made it that much crazier. So, Chad, you know what I need from you, man. I appreciate it. A thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. And like I said, data in the morning tomorrow, but CPI Wednesday, we will see you there live. Free 99, baby. Let's go. Run it.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it.
Ball right off the bat, Chad. The first thing we have to talk about with CPI, it's going to be the expectations, the consensus and forecast numbers. You could get these on Trading Economics. There's always an average before this comes out. They can still move before the event, but coming into the day before, or 2 days before, these are the numbers that we have as of now. But just like every meeting, what you need to pay attention to is headline and core. The last few meetings that we've had pretty much all year, headline was dropping the most, and so was core, but headline was dropping faster. Core did not start moving down really up until recently. If you look at the month over month, you want to see what's going on with core. It didn't really start dropping until about 2 months ago. If you go and see the normal inflation rate month over month, it's done a lot of stuff. But now, what's the twist for this month? It kind of has to go with what I'm showing you here, is that core is expected to come in lower than headline on Wednesday. And although that sounds normal, the problem is that there's a lot of other things going on here, but headline is expected to ramp up. So it's not as if the core reading is meaning that core inflation is shooting back up, but because of oil and all that other stuff, headline is going to hit the highest one that we've seen all year, and then core is still expected to be sticky about around 0.2. So that's what I wanted to bring up to you. We are still going to have a full day until we have the full CPI recap, and I'm going to give that to you, so don't worry. But now we got to move on from CPI. No, I'm already moving on. We got to talk about Japan and what happened today. So, like I said earlier, it seemed like there was a lot of news, but most of it was in the morning. You had the company stuff, and the China stuff was pretty big, but it really came down to two things off the morning why we gapped up. The dollar was down a lot, and you didn't really wake up to any bad news out of China or Europe just yet. China defended their currency, and then Japan made comments that strengthened the yen and the dollar dropped. But what happened with Japan today? that's where this gets really crazy, because the headline this morning was that Japan would soon be able to have the data that would help them confirm a tweak in policy, and it would help them aim to get rid of negative interest rates. This is a huge deal, and it really is what Ueda said today. The central bank governor, these were his words, not a direct quote, but where it gets weird is that people were thinking that Ueda wasn't trying to be hawkish. They think the newspaper, it's called like Yomiuri or something like that, they interviewed him and they made it seem like it was hawkish, and they gave a tilt to it because the title was Bank of Japan Seeks Quiet Exit from Easing. So that's what I wanted to elaborate on today, because that moved the yen a lot. It was a big comment, and without getting into the nitty-gritty of Japan, what I want you to realize, we were talking all this stuff with the dollar and how the ECB is important because it could move it. You see the dollar gap down off the yen today, and it's like, wow, just 2 days before these big events, ECB, CPI, and then even Powell the next week, you're getting a yen rumor, and this is just like borderline like the OPEC stuff. So what I'm saying is that the dollar is going to be key this week, and you better watch that, because the dollar and the yen move is borderline the main reason why we're up today. So I'm going to leave you with that, and the point is, watch all of it. And now these next data events, we're waiting for something to unlock the dollar or support it, and that's going to be all of our main moves. So now let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I have a couple of different plays that I want to go over, but it's going to be very simple. Like I started off with the morning, you have a lot of action. Literally 3 plays just off top, just continuation. Tesla, 10% mover. You could watch that tomorrow. But now RTX, that was big news. They were down as much as 9. They opened up at down 3. There's a lot of room on a stock that doesn't really move. That news is big. $3 billion charge off. People worried about the engines. It's either going to be an overreaction or it's going to get a lot worse. And there's that activity. And then same thing along the lines of the chip makers. You got Qualcomm. That was a big deal. They fluctuated between 5 and 7. All of these can be potential plays. So that's one set I'd look at. Another thing, you tell me. I could give you this up. You tell me for tomorrow. So let me know. I could give you a specific video for this, or I could just add it into a watch list. But the ARM IPO, that got brought up a ton of times today. Even the other one, what's it called? Not Overstock, DoorDash, Shutterstock. What's the one called? With the shopping cart, Instacart. See? We got it there. Process of elimination, Uber. What? But hopefully you get what I'm saying there. It's like a lot of people have been talking about these IPOs. I could give you a breakdown. We could talk about it more in depth, but realistically, you should try to go get your shares if you could get in with your brokerage before it hits the market. Other than that, after it hits the secondary market, as far as playing it, we're going to use the criteria and see what we have to do. But now, the final point I could give you with any plays now, any plays here for tomorrow. Like I've been saying, a lot of data events, and we got to focus on the more important ones, but the ZEW Business Index, that comes out tomorrow morning, and I would watch EWG, even the Euro banks, depending on how that plays out. It could kind of give them a move leading into their ECB. So I do think that will be very important, and you will wake up with a decent reaction either on our market, but at the very least out in Europe off of this data. So we will see what happens. But Chad, that is pretty much everything. I didn't even make any plays today. Like I said, this is what I'm watching here. I'll watch for continuation momentum if it's there. Otherwise, I'll wait for the data. And like I'm saying, if the data confirms, I'm down to go for some of the Europe plays and see what we get into. But you also got to be cautious ahead of these events. But like I'm saying, let the opportunity come. The ex-dividend plays, they worked, all of them except MPW. No surprise, the one with the least quality. And then now we see where it takes us. But Chad, I love you. That is everything. And yeah, that's it. What am I? That is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I'm sorry for always pointing at you, but remember, there's always a purpose. And if you don't believe in that, great. Make a purpose, dog. Oh, stop playing. Why, baby? Why? You can make a purpose for yourself on anything. It's okay. You don't even got to believe in Skydad. I'm just saying then. You tell me. I believe you got a purpose. So make the most of it. Put 10% behind it with the long term. That shows purpose right there, baby. But that's it, Chad. I love you. And then tonight, 6 p.m., Twitch, baby. We're streaming. 2K. I need some ballers. Let's go. So I got good form. I've never seen why don't I do that? I just see, no, I don't really shoot like that. They said elbow in. I shoot like this. This is my form. Like, if I actually shot a ball, you tell me, Chad, what was my shot? I don't know. This is the Josh build. This is how I shoot, though. That's it. You know, I don't know. Can you see it? This is a side view. All right, man. I look like a pumpkin. You saw my yellow ass? Okay, I'm going to leave, bro. I'll be right back. I'm in Horn. I'll see you on Twitch.